the time here on the channel, we get comments from you guys asking us to take a look at some of your favourite players in the game. There's always a comment about how this random guy has done really well for me, scored 30 goals in a season, and it always interests me. I've added these guys to a shortlist, and today we're going to take a look at some of your most overpowered players in FM24, and hopefully we can find some new picks for you guys to sign in your saves. Now, when I say overpowered players, what are we looking for? What do I mean? Well, take Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for example. Don't worry, he's not one of the ones suggested to us, but he is someone that in Football Manager is far too good compared to how he is in real life, and that's because he has some attributes that in-game just make him work better than everybody else and therefore make him overpowered. For some people, it will be pace, for some people strength, aerial ability. A lot of these things have a big weighting in this year's game. Sometimes it's the hidden mental attributes that you can't see without the in-game editor, but now it's time to have a look at some of your picks to see if they really are some overpowered players. And we start off in the second tier of German football, where we were recommended to take a look at Paderborn's Aron Zenner. Now bear in mind this guy is 18, so the person that commented about him, it could have been a few years down the line, I'm not sure, but looking at him straight away, I can definitely see the promise here. I mean, firstly, he is a cheap beast for sure, available for about £1 million, a few years left on his deal at Paderborn, very good when it comes to the attacking side of being a fullback with 15 crossing, good work rate, great corner ability too, technically a very good player, maybe lacks a little bit in the defensive elements with 9 positioning and 9 marking, but that can all be worked on. There's some good physical attributes too, and I do like some of those mentals, so I can definitely see how he could be an overpowered player in the future. Is he one right now? I'm not so sure, but I'm sure in a few years' time with a bit of development, he definitely could be. So if you like the look of this guy, make sure you add him to your shortlist. But for £1 million, I think this is a very good cheap beast, a very good bargain Wonderkid, but is he quite an overpowered player? I'll leave it up to you guys. So that's a defender out the way, but we've got a few more defenders and players from all across the pitch to show you guys. Before we do though, a few things to note. The first thing is we are using the standard FM database after the winter update. So for you guys that are on an updated database, any kind of DLC, then these players might have moved clubs potentially. I don't know in all of their cases, but if you haven't got that yet and you would like to have an updated database, you can find a link in the description to our FM24 to FM25 DLC, which is completely free, an easy download that gives you updated promotions and relegations, updated player abilities, new Wonderkids, and plenty of other changes. So check that out, and if you do go on to enjoy this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, all of that stuff helps us. But most importantly today, let us know down below your favourite overpowered players, and hopefully we can make a follow-up to this one. But keeping in the theme of German fullbacks, we have another one here in the form of Nathaniel Brown, a Frankfurt player on loan at Nuremberg in the second division when you start your save. He's 20 years of age and is much more complete, I would say, than the one that we've just checked out at Paderborn, and this is one I would actually say, I mean, yes, he's a bargain at only a few million, but I would say this guy I can see being very, very good in-game. The reason being, if you have him on any kind of attack duty, with the decent work rate he's got and the good technical ability, that's obviously going to help him, but it's that pace that I'm looking at there that's really going to help him in terms of getting past players on the wing, particularly when he's got a trait of running with the ball often. With the pace and the technical ability that he's got, he's going to be flying past his man at every opportunity. Again, maybe lacks a little bit in the defensive elements, but if you're looking for a wing back and a back five, or you've got some other defensive minded players around him that allow him to have that freedom to go forward, then I could really see him being a top draw player. He's someone that I've signed a few times myself and I've had some pretty good success with, so I actually think for this one, I'm going to say this is a good pick from you guys. The next one is a pick that's been suggested to me both on my channel and the FMSCOUT channel many a time. Is it because he is an absolute aerial beast, or is it because he has the exact same name that I do, Jake Cooper? I'm not sure, but this guy is someone that I can vouch for as an unreal player in FM. Because he's got that jumping reach and that heading ability, it makes him deadly at corners. He's 6'7" and he can score a ton of goals, and he doesn't defend too badly either. On my own channel, I've just actually done a rebuild with Millwall where this guy managed to score 15 goals a season on a regular basis without me setting up any kind of corner routine. He was just banging them in, and he is an absolute beast for that. So if you're in a lower level, say the Championship, and you want a centre back, or even low level of the Premier League, this guy is amazing. 28 years of age, only a couple million quid, and he is going to score you tons of goals from corners. He's an aerial beast. Combine him with someone that's a little bit quicker and maybe a bit better with the ball at their feet, and you could have an unreal defensive partnership. This one is certainly someone that's overpowered in FM. But our final defender is perhaps my favourite pick, and one that we have spoke about plenty of times on the channel, so I think I can already vouch for this one as being a great option. It's Andre Baza, the 17-year-old left back playing for Rapid out in Romania. Now, he has plenty going for him. Firstly, cheap price. Secondly, huge potential. So he's a cheap Wonderkid, he is a cheap beast, and also he is ready to go right from the off. Now, is he super overpowered immediately? No, but within like a season or so, he will be there because the attributes that he's got already show just how far he can go. You could easily bring him into, say, a championship side and have him playing straight away, and before you know it, this guy is going to be top 6 Premier League level quality in no time. I mean, he's an absolute phenomenal left back. He's got the defensive elements, he's got the ability on the ball, the physicals, the mentals. Give it a little bit of time, a year or so into your save, sign him, and you will have a left back ready to compete at the highest level, and at that point I can guarantee he will be overpowered. A bit of a random pick that I didn't expect from you guys though was Thomas Souček, who's someone that's came up a few times in the comments to the videos that I checked before making this, and at first I wasn't really sure why. I mean, he's a £30 million midfielder at West Ham who's 28, no one's buying him I guess, but if you are able to get him on some kind of cut price deal from West Ham, or you're managing West Ham yourself, then yes, I could see why this guy would be amazing in the in-game engine, and let's cover those reasons. I mean, firstly, he is obviously a physical monster, 6'4", extremely strong, great jumping reach, the heading ability is brilliant as well, he works hard, he's got amazing teamwork, great mental stats as well to go alongside it, he's got 14 finishing as well, and decent long shots, and I think it's because of these player traits of getting into the opposition area at a late moment and getting forward whenever possible as to why he's going to be overpowered in game, because he's got all the physical elements to really disrupt a defense. He can score a goal with his head, he can finish really well with his feet too, so if you have him as, say, a box-to-box midfielder and just allow those player traits to happen, you are going to see so many goals. I remember when I did a West Ham rebuild and he was unreal for the first couple of seasons. I think moved to Saudi for a big fee because of just how well he was doing for our West Ham side, but he is a phenomenal player in FM, probably a little bit too good, I would say, no offense to Thomas Souček, but in-game he is maybe one of the world's best midfielders, looking at those attributes, at least in terms of how he's going to play in the in-game engine, and I can guarantee you he's probably one of the most overpowered players in this list. So if you're able to get your hands on Thomas Souček somehow, play him in your team and you'll see some great results. But one suggestion that really surprised me was a free agent player that I've never heard of who looks absolutely amazing, and I could see straight away why this guy would be so good in FM. His name is Raymond Manco. He's a 32-year-old Peruvian international who has been all around the block. I mean, PSV at one point, playing in Qatar, Mexico, Venezuela, and Peru for a bunch of different clubs as well. He's always on the move. I've just had a look at his hidden attributes, and there's nothing really striking about him that would make you think, wow, I can't sign this guy. So I can't really see too many drawbacks yet. I mean, he can play anywhere along the front three. He's got great passing vision and technique. In fact, some of the best you will see from any player, never mind a free agent. He's got flair, he's got dribbling ability, crossing, and corners. Now, as a set piece taker, particularly on those corners, if you have any kind of decent header of the ball with his 18 corner ability and the crossing and everything else that he's got to his game, he's going to be unreal. He is going to get so many assists. Now, I did think maybe his physicals might have declined too much to use, but no, he has actually still got good physical attributes. So I really don't know how he's just chilling as a free agent. But if you're able to get your hands on him, search him up in your game up here, see if you can find him and bring him into your team, I don't see how this could go wrong. I mean, an inverted winger on this left-hand side, cutting in on his right foot and playing a cross in, being your set piece taker from corners, giving you some flair and some creative ability. What a player this is. I don't know how I've never came across him, even in our free agents videos, so this is why I loved making these ones with your guys' suggestions, because I never would have found him, and this is a great pick. And the theme of players that I've never heard of continues with Guile Arthur, who is playing for AC Viseu, a team in the second tier of Portuguese football. He's a 21-year-old Frenchman who has originally played for Nancy, then went to Hoffenheim, and now has ended up in Portugal. He only played for Hoffenheim's second team as well, but looking at him, this would be a great player if you're a lower level team. I mean, there's clearly an upside to him at only 21. He's going to cost you about 300, 400k, and whilst he isn't necessarily mind-blowing for a top tier team, if you're in a championship, this guy has everything he needs to be a good level player, or at least a championship equivalent, if you get my drift. If you're playing at a slightly lower level than the very top, he could do wonders for you. I mean, you bring him in for under £750,000, you get a left winger that is maybe not standout in any particular thing, but great in every area. I'm not necessarily sure whether I'd want to call him overpowered, but at a lower level, he definitely would be. And I think because of the team he's at, it's not like he's going to say, no, I want to stay in the second tier of Portuguese football. So if you're able to get your hands on him, he will do a great job for you. I don't necessarily think I'm going to say he's an overpowered player, but definitely a cheap beast, and one for you guys to check out if you've got a little bit of budget left and you're after a left winger. But a player I have heard of, and one I can definitely vouch for as being an OP player, is Francisco Trincao of Sporting Club de Portugal. Of course, he has been to plenty of clubs before this: Barcelona, Wolves, Braga, and often I've seen him at Sporting Club not really get many games at all, which surprises me, because when you use this guy in FM, he is an absolute phenomenon on the right hand side. I mean, he cuts in on that left foot, as you can see, he cuts inside from right wing as a player trait, has a strong left foot. If you have him as an inverted winger, because of those physical attributes he's got, combined with the great vision, passing, technique, dribbling, crossing, finishing, first touch, whatever you want from him, he is going to do some special things for you. He likes to shoot from distance as well, and with 14 long shots, he is going to be scoring a lot of those. He's available for about 20 million, and at 23, he is still worth going for. He feels like he's been around forever, but he is still a very good option at this stage. Now, he's not the quickest in the world, but he's not necessarily let down in any one particular physical, so he is very well rounded, and combined with those great technical attributes and the mentals as well, especially with the player traits he's got too, you are going to be seeing some great performances. I know he's done it for me before as well, and then moved on to Saudi Arabia for massive money. So if you're a top club looking for a new right winger, this is the man you want to go for. But as we head into the final two striker options, remember to comment down below your most overpowered players that you've used, and we'll try and make a follow-up to this if we get enough comments from you guys. So get them down below, and make sure if you haven't already, you smash that like button for us. But let's take a look at our final two picks. And this is one of those players that I would never have used myself, but you can see why this guy would be an absolute specialist in FM. This is Robert Urius. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he's a Latvian 25-year-old who has plenty of international experience and is currently playing for SC Cambuur. They're a team in the Dutch divisions, and he is an important player for them. Now, looking at him, I would say if you're a championship club looking to get promoted, sign this guy and you've probably got the job done, because whilst he might not look amazing attribute-wise, there's a few things I'm seeing: 16 heading, 6'6", and 20 jumping reach. Combine that with great balance, decent strength, and decent pace as well, and you have a player who is going to dominate aerially, and if you can play crosses onto his head, he is going to score them. 16 heading, 13 first touch, he's got decent off the ball movement as well, so it's not like that's really going to hold him back. And for £1 million here, you've got a guy that could easily score 30 goals a season from corners alone if you have the right corner routine, but even just from general play, him in the box, scoring goals, being a target forward, I think he'll get you a ton of goals from that. Now, you might look at him and think he could do a good deep line forward role, but I don't think he's got good enough passing to be able to bring other players into play, nor do I think he's got the dribbling ability to beat a man, so I purely have him as that focal point to win headers in the air, whether that's as a solo striker or maybe combined with someone that's got a bit more technical ability. Urius here could easily guide a team to the Premier League in FM. This is an overpowered player. But our final pick is one that I can definitely get behind. I've managed Aberdeen before on my channel where we did a rebuild with them. It's Bostjan Mamic, who is an Aberdeen player in FM, but if you have an updated database, he will be at Girona, where he'll likely be a little bit cheaper as well, because I think at Girona, he probably won't get a game in Football Manager because of the talent that they've got, but Mamic in FM is a brilliant option. I mean, in the Scottish divisions, he will score 30 goals a season if you're able to get your hands on him. He's an easy pickup for a championship team, but also if you're a low-level Premier League side, this is a ready-made striker. The North Macedonian forward is an international with plenty of experience. He's got 14 dribbling, 14 finishing, and 14 first touch. The holy trinity of technical attributes. He can pass as well, great work rate, off the ball ability, can hit a penalty, can head the ball well, physically very well rounded. He's got a bit of speed about him. He's 6'2", and whilst he might lack a little bit in the strength and the jumping reach departments, he's still not terrible in those areas. So I mean, for 3 or 4 million, this is a lower level Premier League striker who I can vouch is a guy that will bag goals at any kind of level. So if you're able to get your hands on him, this for me is definitely an overpowered pick. And I've even just checked the editor, and I think one of the reasons why he does so well is he has great ratings for consistency and important matches. So he's going to step up when it counts. He'll regularly find the back of a net, and for that reason, Bostjan Mamic is an overpowered player. So there we go. There's our list for you guys to check out in your saves. If you've got any suggestions of your own, let me know them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.